What's going on, guys? King Raven here, and I'm coming at you with another video today. Today I wanted to do my top 5 knives under $100 in my collection. There are some awesome knives that can be had for under $100 nowadays with materials that you would not have gotten several years ago when I started collecting, because I've been collecting and doing with knives for over 25 years now. So the knife selections that you can get under $100 is just outstanding. But before we get into today's video, let's do a wrist check. Today I'm wearing the Seiko Samurai on a strap code bracelet. This is the Ocean Wave dial. I don't know if you can see that ocean wave pattern, but it is outstanding. This is one of my favorite watches. I love the Samurai case. It's very angular. I think it's one of the best cases that Seiko makes. And pairing it with an angular strap code bracelet, I mean, it's just a stellar combination on this. Very, very, very nice watch. I love it. It's a great watch, great loom. It's hard to beat the Seiko Samurai sometimes. And of course, you know, King Raven likes to match colors a lot of times. So, let's flip the camera around and check out my top 5 knives under $100 in my collection. Okay, guys, let's take a look at these top 5 of my favorite knives under $100 in my collection. So, coming in at number 5 would be the Honey Badger. Any Honey Badger would fill this role. This one happens to be in the drop point configuration, the blade, and the medium size. They make a small, they make a large. The medium is the sweet spot for me. I love it. The blade's roughly around the 3-inch mark. I have the worn cleaver. I have this drop point. I plan on getting their new leaf-shaped blade. So the Honey Badger knives, any one of the Honey Badgers falls into this top 5 favorite knives under $100 in my collection. And they are outstanding. No matter if you go with the 8CR13 MOV or the D2, you can get any of them well under the $100 mark. They start around, I want to say roughly the 38, going up to 65 or so. So the Honey Badger knives, excellent, excellent knives. Love them. They're great. Liner locks, very good in hand. Great ergonomics and jimping. Forward chulls. You can get some without chulls. So many different blade shapes and colors. There is a Honey Badger flavor that I guarantee you would love, and I highly recommend. So they make number 5 on my top 5 knives under $100. Number 4, the 4th knife that's under $100 in my collection is going to be the Offgrid Knives Viper EDC. This is a stellar knife. This is their Tanto shape blade. It's got this sort of like scalloping on the top, so it acts as jimping. It helps get your finger, but it also adds a decorative touch to it. It just makes it more unique. A very robust tip, and this has one of the features to where if you slide up this little button here, it will move that little plunger and prevent you from being able to close this liner lock, essentially locking this in almost as a fixed blade knife. So you do not have to use this. It works as a standard liner lock. if you have it back and you can open and close like normal. But if you're doing some major tasks that you really want that security, flip that up, locks it in, you can go. I love the Viper EDC. This Tanto comes in very useful for scraping, and the robustness of this blade being in D2, it's just a stellar knife. I love the Offgrid Knives Viper EDC, and it comes in at number 4 on my top 5 knives under $100 in my collection. Number 3. I'm cheating a little bit here because this is a twofer, because I think no matter which one you choose, you cannot go wrong. Number 3 is going to be the Ferrum Forge Mini Archbishop or the Ferrum Forge Prolox, depending on whether you like a blade that's got more belly, or if you like more of a straight Warncliffe style knife. The Prolox or the Mini Archbishop is going to suit your needs. I love Ferrum Forge. They are one of my favorite designers. I have more Ferrum Forge knives in my collection than I do Spyderco knives or Hinder knives, because Ferrum Forge brings some excellent designs at prices that are hard to beat, especially for the material you're getting. Nitro V steel. It's awesome. I love Nitro V steel. So you can get these knives. They're very similar in size. They both have tools. They've got good jimping on the top of the knives that just locks in your thumb. You can choke up and do really fine work with these. The Mini Archbishop or the Prolox by Ferrum Forge is stellar knives. I cannot recommend these knives higher than I do. That's why these come in at number 3 on my top 5 knives under $100. The Ferrum Forge Mini Archbishop and the Ferrum Forge Prolox. Okay, number 2 on my top 5 knives under $100 in my collection, we're coming in with another Offgrid Knives. This is the Offgrid's Cayman EDC. I absolutely love this very drastic Bowie clip point style blade. It is stellar. This does not have a tool, but the way the handle's shaped, and you get your finger in there, and the way they have the jimping that goes all the way, you lock in. There is no details that you need to choke up any further than this. This is in D2 steel. It has got a black wash on it. It is a liner lock. It's got good handles that just feel your hand, and it's also a little bit thicker this way. So I mean, literally, it just feels so great in the hand, and that blade is just awesome. I love the Offgrid Knives Cayman EDC, and this makes number 2 on my top 5 knives under $100. Okay, drum roll. Number 1 on my top 5 knives under $100. Surprise, surprise. It is another Ferrum Forge. This happens to be the Ferrum Forge Stinger. You can get many different styles of the Stinger. This happens to be a Blade HQ exclusive, to where it had the black wash with the natural JG10. I've got the regular style blade with the green G10 handles, so I have a couple of these Stingers. These things are awesome. Nitro V steel. It has a forward choil. They are light. If you can see up in there, look how those scales are milled out. This is a super light knife, super thin and slicey. This is what I call my bug out killer. I do not have a bug out because I'm not the biggest Benchmade fan. I prefer other knives like Spyderco and Ferrum Forge. This fills that role that a bug out would be in my collection. If I want a lightweight, thin, slicey knife, there is no question the first thing that I'm going to grab is my Ferrum Forge Stinger. It makes number one without a shadow of a doubt. I have recommended the Stinger probably more than any other knife in this price range. I do not think you can find a better knife for the value, especially with the materials and design that it is. It is just outstanding. So the Ferrum Forge Stinger makes number one in my top 5 knives under $100. So I'm going to set the Stinger right here at number one. The Offgrid Knives Cayman EDC at number 2. The Ferrum Forge Mini Archbishop or Ferrum Forge Prolox coming in at number 3. The Offgrid Knives Viper EDC coming in at number 4. And any of the Honey Badger knives coming in at number 5. This is the top 5 knives of my collection under $100. I cannot recommend these more. Check them out. Let me know in the comments below, what are your 5 knives that you like for under $100? And are there any on this that you disagree with? Are there any that you like better? Am I missing any? Of course, they might not be in my collection. So this is just out of my collection, the top 5 knives under $100. But I would love to hear your thoughts. So let me know. Follow me on Instagram at Shield Arms. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, this is King Raven. Y'all be safe out there.